Hey, everybody, and welcome to the True Crime Squad. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my sister, co host, and partner in crime, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
How's it
It's
going?
Wednesday night. It's going good. It's going well.
Wonderful.
Good, well, nice. I don't know. My grammar's not great tonight.
Your grammar's not.
Our mom would be offended.
Oh.
Well, people always say good, but really what you should say is well.
Oh.
Our mom was,
true.
We may be Hicks from Idaho, but we do not talk like that because our mom was a teacher. We were not allowed to talk like that.
No. No, we were constantly. If it was one thing we were in trouble for, it may have been the way we talked. I mean, that was. Or grades. We were expected to get A's, and we didn't get paid for them. I always had friends that got paid for their grades, and my mom was like, "Are you kidding me? I'll pay you."
Yeah, that's like your
pay you out of your hide for a bad grade. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, yeah. We were held to a certain standard. I don't know if we always meet it, but we were.
We did our best. It is true.
Mm-hmm. Well, welcome. I hope you guys had a fun Halloween. If you celebrate, I know you guys aren't all in the U.S. and maybe you don't do Halloween or not. We're wild in here in the U.S. with it, but
Yeah.
Either way, I hope you had a good time. Want to say hi to all of our chatters.
Mm-hmm.
We just went to our sister Kara's house. We don't get trick or treaters. Neither of us do, and so we go to Kara's house because she does.
Yeah, it's fun to get to see the kids in their costumes and just hang out and we had a good time.
Oh yeah, we just ate and played games and sat and visited and did the trick or treater thing and hazed our niece and nephew, and that's pretty much what we did.
It's just a great night all the way around.
Right? Yeah. Well, you probably already heard this, but I want to tell you that we have launched our merch finally.
Yeah.
At long last. So it is over in my Etsy store. And of course, you can find that. Oh, hold on. I'm going to give you the exact right listing so that you've got it.
We'll just go to truecrimesquad.com.
True. Go to truecrimesquad.com.
That's all you have to do.
You'll find it.
There's a link right there to click on it.
Yeah, we're so excited. It's been, we've talked about doing it for a long time. It's crazy considering what else I do for a living that we haven't had very good merch until now, but we're trying to fix ourselves.
Makes merch for other people, so
Yeah, and not for us. So I took some time getting some good designs together and getting everything put together, and here we are. So we have these tumblers. Now, two things about these. They're 30 ounce, which to me really matters. A lot of the tumblers that you buy, it's really standard to do 20 ounce ones, and I just don't think they're big enough. If you drink a lot of water or something else, 20 ounce I think are small. So I went 30, but I also ordered the cups that have this lid on them that has a straw so that you can just, drink out of them. They also come with the clear coffee mug kind of lid. You get them both, which to me, it's nice to have options with them. So those are the cups. There's also mugs. I didn't bring my mug in. Have you got yours?
Yes, I do. It says, quite frankly, Judge, it's voluminous. Many of you have asked for this. It also has John Pryor's Clutch and Pearls right on it. Or should I say my Clutch and Pearls that I wear on behalf of John Pryor?
For sure. And the official, the final one that made the final cut actually does have an orange background on it, but yeah, I got ahead of myself. There are t-shirts with this design and others. Not this shirt. I just put this design on a shirt that I had, but at any rate, there's lots of different Yeah, there's 3 different kinds of t-shirts to choose from, and or 4. And then, of
Mhm.
course, there's also, hoodies. So, anyway,
Yeah, we
we
finally
finally
did
have
it.
merch. Yeah,
Yes.
so it's up and running. So, anyway, you can come
Jerry
and find
says
it
Merry
and
Christmas
see.
to me. Yes, Merry
Yes,
Christmas
Jerry.
to you.
Ordered a tumbler. Yes, I love it. Well, yeah, gotta start thinking about Christmas for yourselves. It's a good one to, send that link right over to your significant other or yourself to buy yourself
Right?
some nice things.
Exactly.
I made 3 of these today, just today.
That's awesome.
I love it. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's kind of why I had a really hard time getting grounded today and centered, but I've been in right brain like creative mode all day and then needed to sink into left brain because we did record an episode right before this and now
We did,
here
yeah.
we are. Yeah. A lot going on. There's a lot going on in the true crime world, a lot of kind of technical stuff.
Hmm.
Stuff I'm trying to get my head all the way around. But
Right?
let's go ahead and start because we do have a lot going on. So, Kristi, I think actually I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the Cornell student and what happened there.
Guys, holy crap. We keep talking about like mass shootings and hate crimes and how some of them are, definitely happening and then others are getting foiled. And another one got foiled in Syracuse, New York at Cornell University. This was yesterday and I'm so happy that they caught this guy before he did anything. So, we are talking about Patrick Dye. He's 21, a junior at Cornell. He's from Pittsford, New York, and he was arrested yesterday on a federal criminal complaint charging him with posting threats to kill or injure someone using
Hmm.
interstate communications. So this is a big investigation. They by the U.S. Attorney Carla B. Friedman, Alfred Watson, acting special agent in charge of the Albany field office of the FBI, New York State Police, and Cornell University Police. So what happened is that Patrick Dye has been posting threatening messages on there's this online discussion site that is part of Cornell University's website. And he was posting things calling for the deaths of Jewish people and a post that said, gonna shoot up 104 West. So 104 West is a Cornell University dining hall that caters predominantly to kosher diets. So obviously caters to mostly Jewish students.
Hmm.
And it's located next to the Cornell Jewish Center. And that's the residences for Jewish Cornell students. So very would be the kind of place that if he were to, in fact, carry out an attack there, would kill a lot of Jewish people all at once.
Hmm.
He threatened to stab and slit the throat of any Jewish male he sees on campus, to rape and throw off a cliff any Jewish females, and behead any Jewish babies. I mean, it's horrific.
My God.
In another post, he also threatened an assault rifle, to bring an assault rifle to campus and shoot all Jews. I'm not going to, he used a slur, but I'm not going to use it.
Hmm.
Um, these are accusations, of course, and he's presumed innocent until proven guilty. But thank God, Patrick Dye has not hurt anyone. And he is now under arrest and being investigated. Um, so, what he's charged with right now carries a maximum term of 5 years in prison, a fine of $250,000, and a term of supervised release of up to 3 years. So, we don't know exactly where this will go. He will make his initial, he will make today or tomorrow. I can't remember if he was in court today or if it's tomorrow. That he'll actually be in court in Syracuse, New York, before a United States magistrate judge. These are federal charges. So, yay, 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 yay,
Yeah.
yay. They got him before he did anything. This is the part of it that we're still, no, he's in his 20s. He's 20. Um, this is the thing that is so confusing to me. People saw these and said, we have to do something about this. This is a huge threat. We have mass shootings. We have all kinds of hate crimes. We got to get right on this.
Yeah.
And then there's Robert Card, who literally was behaving in very scary ways, was reported to the police. The army said, hey, this guy can't have a gun anymore because he's dangerous. He said he was going to shoot up his base. All of that stuff and all of those things got ignored, and he was able to kill 18 people and injure 13 more.
Yeah.
So it's so we have this inconsistency happening in this country right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is really scary to me. I want to make sure that we're thinking about this and looking at this in our own communities, because this is a training issue. We need to be able to see these things as escalated and take them seriously very quickly. And it's not a wait and see kind of situation. We aren't in that place anymore. Not at all. In this,
No.
the place that we're in now is we have to protect the public. And
Absolutely.
that means, that threats have to be acted upon quickly to protect everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Noe, read the room. We can't just sit back just in case anymore. No, we have to be acting now just in case. And so I'm thrilled that they were able to catch Patrick Dye before he did anything horrible. I really, really hope that we're seeing more of this, that the feds were involved there, and that, they should have been involved with Robert Card.
Yes.
He was a military reservist. Why were the feds not involved with him? He should have been. They should have been. So I think we just
so many balls dropped.
We're seeing the ways in which this stuff can start to be circumvented and prevented. We're seeing just a lot of inconsistency about how these things are being handled right now, and I just want to see it get better.
Yep. Well,
right. No, we do have preventative measures. They're just not taken as often as they should be. And we can't wait anymore. We can't wait and see anymore. Waiting and seeing means people get killed. That's what it means.
Yep, for sure. Well, good on them. How terrifying. Some of our chatters that live near there are saying that Cornell area is terrifying.
Is it?
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, what a scary thing to be threatening, and with very clear intent, knowing exactly where he would go, where he could do the most damage.
Yep.
Threatening to bring a gun. That's it, man. You make threats like that, you're done. We cannot let this stuff go on. No. Cannot.
Absolutely not. And damn it, we don't care about your rights if you're making threats like this. If you are acting
if you are
scary,
threatening to take people's lives,
you are forfeiting those. Yeah.
Right. You are giving those rights up.
Yeah. All righty. Well, let's talk about Delphi.
Yes. Holy crap.
It is a deep rabbit hole. I will not even begin to pretend today that I understand it all, because I don't. I'm going to give you guys a couple of resources, because if you want to dig deeper into this, that's where I suspect you go. But essentially what's happening, as we know, there was supposed to be a hearing 2 weeks ago in which that didn't happen. The prosecution had called for the removal of Richard Allen's attorneys because there had been a leak from Attorney Baldwin's office. An employee who actually no longer worked there had taken and leaked some autopsy or crime scene photos. That person later took their own life. And because that happened...
I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. The prosecution was like, well, they got to be kicked out. Well, it's not really that easy to just say they got to go. So right before court that day, the defense attorneys met in chambers with Judge Gull. Well, then Judge Gull announced that they had both withdrawn as counsel, and that the hearing was going to be canceled for now, and moved. And everybody was like, well, shit. And then she immediately put 2 new attorneys in place, and their names are William Labrato and Robert Scremin.
Okay.
Well, a couple of things about Lombardo and Scremin. Neither of them have ever sat first chair on a death penalty case. In
Oh,
fact,
shit.
internet sleuths have done a lot of digging around, and basically what they're finding is that only one of them has ever even been on a capital murder case before at all in any capacity. Why were they appointed? Well, there's a lot of allegations that one of them, at least, is very good friends with Judge Gull.
Oh, good Lord.
Hmm.
There is so much improper shit going on in this case. I can't even keep track of it.
In the meantime, remember that motion a long time ago that's been filed a few times now saying we have to get Richard Allen out of a supermax prison because he is in serious danger. He's literally losing his mind.
Yeah.
The uh, his rights have been violated there in a bunch of different ways. Yeah, she said, "Nah, I think we'll leave him put." Cool, great.
This dude
So
isn't even going to live to see trial.
no, he's not. So now, attorneys Rossi and Baldwin both said we were coerced and essentially blackmailed into uh, saying we would recuse ourselves. We never officially recused ourselves. They had never filed any kind of forms. And
Oh
they
my
both said,
gosh.
no, we're staying on. Pro bono, we're staying on. So now they're not filing as the public defenders. They're saying, no, we don't want your money. We're doing this because it's the right thing, because we fully believe that we are representing an innocent man whose uh, rights are seriously being trampled on. And the
Holy
judge said,
shit.
nah, and she
I
can't.
mean, I don't think she can. No.
She can't. She is not only is she trouncing all over Richard Allen's constitutional rights here, but she's taking privileges that she doesn't really have. So the following was written by somebody smarter than me about Indiana law. But basically, what they're saying is that there's no authority allowing a court to withdraw counsel under these circumstances. She can't just do that. Also, she's saying that she is withdrawing them as counsel because of gross negligence. There was never a hearing. She never made a ruling. None of this has ever been done officially. So, of course, Rossi and Baldwin got an attorney, attorneys having to get attorneys,
Right.
and they are going to the Supreme Court over it because they're
Good.
saying Richard Allen's rights are being severely violated. Our rights as attorneys are being violated. None of this is okay.
Well, and if they convict him now without resolving this and frankly getting rid of that judge and starting over again,
Hmm.
it'll get overturned in appeal. I mean, his rights have been
Yeah,
violated in
yeah,
every way possible, you know?
yeah.
And that's not the way that you convict a murderer.
No.
If you want that to stick. I mean, give me a break.
Hmm. Even Jennifer Coffender or Coffendaffer,
Yes.
uh, she's a former FBI agent that does a lot of TV appearances and Twitter and whatnot, and a lot of true crime. Even Jennifer, who typically stands strongly on the side of the prosecution, is like, no, this is a complete shit show. This cannot happen. The
No.
law is being violated right and left. And here's the thing, if you want justice for Abby and Libby, you should be screaming from the rooftops about this,
Right.
because this is not a way to get justice for Abby and Libby. The
No.
outcomes of this are grim. First of all, the chance right now of Richard Allen even living to see his trial date, because Judge Gull has moved it now to October 2024.
Yeah, moved it a year
It's
out.
been pushed out another year. He's going to live in that supermax prison for another 12 months. Are you kidding me? An innocent until proven guilty citizen of this country is going to be
Yeah.
living in hell in that prison for another year before his case goes to trial.
Right.
But also, you're right. Right now, this case is so muddled up and so muffed up with so many allegations, so much bullshit that's happened. This case will be appealed into infinitum.
It will.
If you
This
want
stuff
justice for
has
Abby
to
and
be
Libby,
remedied before there's ever a trial.
absolutely. And if you want justice for Abby and Libby, you should be demanding it. I am
Right.
amazed at all of the people that are like, so what? He's guilty. Let him burn.
We
How
don't
do
know
you know
that.
that? Nobody knows that. We don't
No,
know that he is or isn't.
and there's so much stuff that has not been addressed that has been filed by his defense.
Yeah.
That I mean, all this just looks like a whole bunch of covering everybody's ass
Yeah. I mean,
and
they have
no
filed a
protecting of his
mountain of
rights.
briefs that the judge has just completely ignored. Yeah, there's a county jail to hold him. They just don't want to put him there.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh, we can't keep him safe. Wow, we don't want to. No, we don't want to be hassled with this. We'll just put him in prison." Yeah.
But how is that not violating his civil rights? He is not convicted of anything.
And the last
And
time I checked, that was their job.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the judge and the prosecutor's job and the defense, they are all there to protect the rights of the defendant. It has to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, we're, this is not Guantanamo Bay, for hell's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's never going to be any justice in this case unless this is remedied. Because we'll
No.
never really know if he did it or not.
No. One thing to note about Judge Gull is she has never been a defense attorney.
Really?
Mm-hmm. There's this filing that was filed by David Hennessy. He's the attorney for Andrew Baldwin. And this is a supplementation of the record for what they have already filed for with the Supreme Court. And he's talking about 5 different reasons why, shit's really sideways here. But number 5 is really the barn burner. There would also be testimony that a person who has never practiced criminal defense is not competent to judge the effectiveness and necessities and quality of criminal defense representation, nor what the representation is in the best interest of the accused.
Right.
Basically going, how is this judge making this ruling when she has no idea what she's talking about? She just said, oh, I decided it was gross negligence on their part. What was?
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. It
Nothing
has to
filed?
be proven. And what's gross negligence? What are you alleging?
Mm-hmm.
And the release of that documentation, right? Their office
Yeah.
can be held accountable for that. But if they in fact know who did it, and that
Yeah.
person is no longer working there, it's just insane.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that that person then took their own life, what in the hell is going on?
Right. What is going on completely? What is going on? Also, even if there was a finding about the leaked documents, the remedy would not be removing the attorneys.
Mm-mm.
There's just everything about this is wrong. If you're on
Well,
Twitter, I highly I highly recommend that you follow Defense Diaries. That's Bob Moda.
yes.
He is amazing, and he's has a lot to say about this case that I think is really valid. I would follow him for like a deep dive into it. But this is just unbelievable.
But I mean,
It's just
being a
unbelievable.
judge does not mean that you just make it up as you go along. Judges are
No.
bound by law. And she's violating Indiana law all over the
Mhm.
place.
Yep. It should be
And
terrifying to all of us because, and I agree with that, Amanda. She said, I often watch a lawyer on YouTube that talks about how it's never an issue until it's your family member it's happening to. Right. Exactly. But also for Abby and Libby's families.
right,
This case is such a bullshit circus that the judge is setting this case up for appeals into infinitum.
right.
That it's possible that they do not have the right man on trial here, and justice is never actually going to be served. There is
And
so much wrong with this.
there is, and
Yeah.
even if they do have the right man, even if he is who did it, and I'm not going to say he is because I have not seen anywhere near enough evidence to prove that,
Yeah.
they're never going to get a clean conviction
No.
like this. It will never hold up.
No. This is a disaster.
It is. We've talked about this so much all the way through the Daybell Vallow case and how important it is that Lori and Chad's rights be protected at every turn, and this is
Yep.
why.
Yep. This is exactly why. So we will all continue to keep a close eye on this, but
Yeah.
not good. Not good at all. And I
No.
really hope that the Supreme Court of Indiana looks at this and goes, oh, Judge Gull has got to go.
Yeah. What the hell is going on here?
Because this is a mess. Speaking of messes and judges being called into question, talk to us about Murdaugh.
Yeah. So it's not a lot, but there is a little bit going on in the Alex Murdaugh saga of life. So Murdaugh's attorneys have now asked the South Carolina Supreme Court to kick Judge Newman off his case.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, they don't want him to be able to handle any future appeals, hearings, or trials in the Murdaugh case. And as you know, Judge Newman has been tasked with all of his charges. So
Yeah.
the murder charges, all of the financial crimes, everything was all being seen in front of the same court. So the attorney's motion, which remember, this is an unusual motion. This is the kind of shit that Murdaugh's team does all the time and gets
Mm-hmm.
shot down for because they've always got some bullshit going on.
Yeah.
This is called a writ of prohibition, and Murdaugh's attorneys have alleged that since Newman was a participant in various matters that will be in dispute at an upcoming hearing involving alleged jury tampering at Murdaugh's original murder trial, he should not be allowed to preside over that or other hearings in which Murdaugh is seeking a new trial.
Yep.
So we know he's seeking a new trial over the whole jury tampering mess with the clerk and all of that stuff. And they say they have a right to an impartial judge, although I've yet to see anything that says Newman is not impartial.
Right.
Um, this motion is nearly 300 pages long. Oh my God. It,
Why does that not surprise me?
right. They're also saying that Newman has made numerous statements in and out of court expressing his personal opinion about Murdaugh's guilt, legal issues, and trial strategy. And those statements, including one aired on national television, violate the Code of Judicial Conduct, which requires impartiality. Now, if any of this is truly true, we don't know because they love to make accusations that we have yet to see them prove.
Jimbo and
They
Poop
say,
Man, they just say whatever they want and pretend like it's the facts.
Right. And then that everyone is supposed to just agree with them and believe them and move on. And I think they're pretty used to that being the case.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Let's see. So they're saying Mr. Murdaugh's right to have his appeal heard by an impartial judge will be violated if Judge Newman proceeds to hear his motion for a new trial. I mean, they've got a lot to prove to boot Newman off at this point.
Oh, yeah.
They're also asking the High Court to stay or halt all of Murdaugh's court-related proceedings pending a Supreme Court decision on this request. So they don't want him to have to go through any more court until this is ruled upon by the South Carolina Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see. I mean, it's just another really flamboyant use of the law at this point. And they're making some pretty serious allegations about a judge that they better be able to back up, because if they can't,
well, especially a judge who they've already had lost in, had the conviction. But it seems like there's just no consequences for Jim and Harpootlian. It just seems to me like they just get away with a lot of this stuff that
so
should
they're
never
saying
be allowed.
he didn't actually do anything wrong during the trial, but he was an eyewitness to and participant in some of the events that will likely be discussed at any hearing involving jury tampering. He was the judge presiding.
Right.
He's not a witness.
Or a participant. Yeah. He's the judge, for Christ's sake.
So this is extremely aggressive. It is extremely, it's a very long shot.
Mhm.
at this point.
Yep. 300 pages on a very long shot. They must have a
Yeah,
lot of assistants and law students and people working for them that have the time for this shit because
they clearly do, and
they
they
seem to
must
have
seem
very deep pockets in what they continue to
right,
pump out. Yeah.
right. I mean, at some point, Alec Murdaugh's money's going to run out.
Yeah.
How is he going to continue to pay for all this and at this level? Because yeah, can you imagine grinding out that 300-page filing?
Hmm.
What that cost?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's let's just say the audacity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of audacity here.
Chat GTP.
Right,
Probably.
Deanna? Maybe so. I don't know. I'm dumbfounded at times by what these guys are doing, but they are so clearly emboldened and empowered by a system that has let them get away with whatever they want.
Hmm.
And we're going to see.
Yep.
I mean, they lost hard on this trial
Hmm.
and yet behave as though they didn't.
Yep.
It's creepy as hell.
Hmm. It's really something.
It is.
Well, speaking of really something, let's talk about Caitlin Armstrong.
Oh, good Lord.
Okay, so y'all know Caitlin Armstrong. This is the woman last year who allegedly shot and killed Mo Wilson. She was a competitive biker and was friends with, and maybe former lovers with her fiance, Caitlin's fiance, Colin, and who was also a biker. And this is a cyclist, and this is her trial. Caitlin, who initially fled to Costa Rica using her sister's driver's license, passport, and credit cards, and had a surgery on her face to try to change her appearance, cut her hair short, all the things. Remember? All right. Well, her
Oh,
trial
yeah.
is finally starting. This is also Caitlin, who we shared with you a few weeks ago, her attempt to escaping from the jail before her trial even started.
Yeah. Well, she was at a doctor's appointment.
Caitlin, who by the way is super duper McDuper innocent, guys, according to her defense attorney,
She's really
and
behaving like an innocent person.
that was my thought. I'm like, Caitlin, if
No,
you're
she is
innocent,
not.
you should not have tried to run.
Yeah. Both times.
Hmm. So they got going today. The prosecutor opened up with the last thing Mo did on this earth was scream in terror.
Mm.
Those screams are followed by pop, pop, and you won't hear any more screams after that. Uh, Prosecutor Jones said Caitlin Armstrong stood over Mo Wilson and put a third shot right in Mo's heart. They said that they have got plenty, the evidence that they have is pretty convincing.
Yeah.
They have a lot of a digital footprint of her in the area, of the things that she was Googling and looking up right up to that point. The fact that she did own a SIG and bought a bunch of ammo for it. The
Oh, and went and practiced shooting.
and yes, and went
If
practice
they can
shooting.
prove she knew how to use it too.
Hmm. Also, they found Mo's bike in a bush, and I know this will come as a big surprise to you all, but guess whose DNA was all over the seat and the handles?
Was it Caitlin Armstrong's DNA?
Weirdly, it was Caitlin's.
So she was riding her bike
Yeah,
after she was dead, but she definitely didn't kill her. Is that what we're hearing here?
definitely did
Unreal.
not. Her attorney, in his opening statement, said there is no video evidence. None. No video evidence can put Armstrong at the scene of the shooting. Obviously, she didn't do it. And also, guys, she
How
didn't.
many shootings are there where there is video evidence? It's a lot more that you don't have. Jesus.
Guys, she didn't flee to Costa Rica because she had committed a crime. She just moved to Costa Rica because she wanted to be a yoga instructor there.
And that's why she went under her sister's name?
Obviously. Yeah.
and had plastic surgery to try to. My God.
I mean, did she, or did she just get hit in the face with a surfboard? Because that's what she said. Uh,
Sure.
it is something. Her lawyer is slimy AF. He is awful. Uh, he was a real jerk about the opening statements. There was a lot of fireworks between the prosecution and the defense. This is going to be wild. But at any rate, it's going. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Well, I think it's about damn time for Mo's family's sake to get this over with.
Absolutely. But Caitlin, if this isn't how innocent people act, it just
No.
isn't. There's just so many
I mean,
things.
even if it was true that you were just going to move there to be a yoga instructor, why would you go under someone else's name?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
That in and of itself tells you she's trying to conceal something. Like, come on.
All of it. Yep. But then again, trying to run from the police, you know,
At her
this,
doctor's
at
office,
a
yeah.
doctor's office a couple weeks ago is also a real bad look. God damn for that big tall fence, Caitlin. It just
Yep.
really, how unfair.
Because she'd been training for a while. She got a mile away before they got a hold of her.
She was
But
definitely a
she'd
faster
been
runner than
working
them.
out. She'd been working out and training and stuff
Hmm.
for all this time. Like she was prepping for
Hmm.
this opportunity.
It's probably a miracle she did not get away. She
It
was
really
ready.
probably is.
Hmm. So that's what's up. It's going to continue to get deep as hell. So put on your waders and we'll continue to keep an eye on that one. But that's what's up with Miss
Right.
Caitlin. Yeah. Let's see.
Interesting.
Kristi, there's some stuff going down in Kohberger.
Yeah, okay. This pisses me off to no end. Remember, there's been all these controversies about when they should tear down the house in Moscow. This is the Moscow murders. And there have been attempts to tear the house down several times, and people keep freaking out and saying, let's not, we think that's hasty. Well,
Hmm.
guess what? Investigators are back in the house.
Yeah.
The FBI has been there gathering measurements and images that they're going to use for like recreations and stuff. So they've taken the plywood off the doors and windows and stuff, and they're going into the house for more documentation. They want to construct visual and audio exhibits and a physical model of the home.
Hmm.
Well, if they were going to do that, then why the hell did they almost tear it down more than once? It is
Well,
so weird to me that
it
there's been
is.
such a push to do this over and over again. And then the FBI is like, well, we'll probably go in there and make, what if they torn the house down?
Well, and they said
The
they
hell?
didn't have time. They wouldn't have had time to do their model and their recreation. But now that the jury or the trial's pushed out, now they do have time. So okay, we're going to do it. So then they
Right.
just had to do this on Halloween. I mean,
I know.
of
The
all
whole
days.
thing, it's weird as hell. Those bodies were buried so quickly. They tried to tear that house down so quickly. I don't understand the rush at
Hmm.
all.
No.
Um,
But
so
also
they're,
get this. They're now done in the house today and they're boarding it back up.
yeah, yeah,
24 hours is all they needed,
yeah. Why did
but
they
they
not
didn't have time?
before? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. The families are very grateful. Again, there was a statement put out today as the family has stressed from the beginning of the investigation, the King Road house is one of the most critical pieces of evidence in this case. We are grateful that the University of Idaho listened to the family's concerns and delayed the demolition of the house. Isn't
Hmm.
this the whole point of not destroying evidence? You may not know if you need it until later, or it may become more important once a jury hears evidence in a case.
Hmm.
It is our understanding that the King Road residence will not be demolished until after the trial has concluded. Duh. On another note, it is important for the families of victims to stay involved in this process and trust your gut when it comes to standing up for the victims in the case. Our voice has been loud and consistent and will stay that way for Kaylee, Xana, and all the victims until justice has been served. And that was from the Gonsalves family.
Hmm.
So at least now they're saying, okay, we're not going to tear the house down.
Hmm.
But it kills me that they're like, well, we don't really need it anymore.
Yeah.
And now, oh, but we do. It's just ridiculous. So also, there's a hearing in Kohberger tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And this should be interesting because this it's to do with scheduling, of course, but
Mhm.
it's also to do with the investigative genetic genealogy review because the defense has continued to challenge the genetic the genealogical DNA that they did to initially identify Brian Kohberger's dad, actually,
Yeah.
that that gave them what they needed to be able to arrest Kohberger when they took some of their garbage
Yeah.
and proved that the DNA in the garbage was the biological father of the killer, and conveniently
Yeah.
they only had one son. So there's been some challenges to that. So that's going to get addressed tomorrow, plus
Mhm.
just some scheduling because we still don't. This is postponed indefinitely. We do not
Mhm.
have any like future date, and I don't know if we're going to get that tomorrow or not. We shall see.
Yeah. Wild, wild stuff. I will say that he is certainly getting a robust defense.
The most robust defense we've seen in all of these big cases we've been following
Mhm.
lately. I mean,
Yeah.
you compare that defense to what's happening in Richard Allen.
Well,
Like
they're
this is
trying to
supposed to
give a
be the
robust
same criminal
defense.
justice system,
Yeah.
right? But like the judges on the side of the robust defense too, allowing all of this and actually ruling on it and all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
just insane to me, to say that
Yeah.
we have a criminal justice system that is the same for everyone in every place is bullshit. It's
Oh,
not true.
entirely.
Yeah.
Entirely. But also on that back to the house because I just can't get over it. Why would we not want the jury to walk through the house? Frankly,
Right.
I have personally thought, and I've studied this case into infinitum like a lot of you guys have,
Hmm.
I've been very confused about what bedroom is where, what hallway, the back door, who was upstairs, who was on the third floor, who was downstairs. I think it's incredibly confusing. And I think that an FBI recreation or model is helpful, but nothing could be more helpful than the jury walking through that home,
Right. Right. I mean,
seeing it with their own eyes.
you look what it
Yeah.
did for the
Murdaugh.
Alec Murdoch case. It
Yeah.
literally convicted him.
Yep.
So yeah, it just leave that fucking house alone. Let's get this
Hmm.
idiot tried. God.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah.
Huge stuff. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there is a trial going on right now that we haven't really covered very much, but it is happening. This is the Dan Markle murder. And I know some of the other podcasters are way on top of this one. Uh, particularly the shaming of Jay, defense diaries. So some of them will have a lot more to say about this one. But this is the trial of the dentist, Charlie Adelson, who is accused of setting up a murder for hire to kill his former brother in law, Dan Markle.
Hmm.
So his girlfriend at the time was associates with some gang members who she got roped into murdering Markle. And then, of course, it tracked back. She's already been tried and convicted. Both of the killers for hire have been tried and convicted, but for the longest time, Charlie was never tried or was never charged, and he has finally been charged. And right now, they are, in the process of trying him. Charlie Adelson is such a blowhard, big mouth asshole, and everybody's just kind of blinking with shock right now because he's going to testify tomorrow. And this feels like a real Alec Murdoch moment where this
Hmm.
is the last thing that should be happening on his behalf, but he just has to get his big mouth out there. So,
Right.
if you've not been following this trial, it sounds like tomorrow will probably be the barn burner of it, but that's what's going on with this case. Again, this is a huge rabbit hole that I have not been fully in. So these are the things I know. And some of you guys have probably followed this case a lot deeper than I have. It all went down in Florida, and that's what's going on right now. So keep an eye on that one. It is a big one.
It is. I know. I'm very curious. Yeah, and what's going to happen with him on the stand tomorrow?
Yeah. Yep, that's going to be interesting. Kristi, Joran Vandersloot.
Jordan Vandersloot. Guess who's going back to serve a whole lot of years of prison in Peru? Jordan Vandersloot. So now
Okay.
he was convicted of hustling poor Natalie Holloway's mother out of
Hmm.
$25,000.
Yeah.
And so he was convicted of that here in the States. As a part of that conviction, he has confessed in lurid detail to the murder of Natalie Holloway. Of course, that happened
Hmm.
in Aruba. So this all gets confusing because although she was an American citizen, her death happened in Aruba. And he then, 5 years after Natalie Holloway was killed, killed someone else, Stephanie Flores Ramirez, in
Hmm.
Peru. And he's serving 28 years in prison in Peru. So
Hmm.
he will serve 20 years of time in Peru. His sentence of 20 years, 28 years in Peru, 20 years from the US, but they're doing them concurrently, which means that
Hmm.
he'll go back to Peru, serve as much time as Peru wants him, and then if there's still time left on that 20-year sentence, he will come to the United States to serve the rest of that.
Hmm.
And in the midst of that, Aruba has said that they have not ruled out trying him for
Hmm.
Natalie Holloway's murder in
Hmm.
Aruba.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he is still lying to Natalie's mother. It makes no sense to me that her body is just gone. I don't
Hmm.
believe him for a second that he just pushed her out into the water, went like however deep he said he went, and that her body didn't just end up back on the beach. That makes no sense to me.
Hmm.
But he did admit to killing her.
Yeah.
And so we shall see. But yeah, he's going to be spending a lot more time in prison in Peru
Hmm.
and then potentially back here in the US and maybe at some point also in Aruba. So, hey, as long as it's forever, Jordan
Yeah.
Vandersloot, that's okay with me.
Which is all pretty hilarious because he really wanted to come to the US, and it seemed as though he was really trying to get out of Peru, out of the Peruvian prison because it was such a bad scene. And it kind of kills me that the US is like, all right, well, see ya.
Yeah,
Go back there now. Yeah.
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 Right. See, Amanda, there's a 12-year statute of limitations on murder in Aruba, which if that is hard and fast, they can't try him.
Hmm.
However, they're saying they have not ruled it out. So it is still
Hmm.
possible that but yeah, I thought it was pretty great that he's going back to Peru.
Yeah.
See ya,
Yep.
jackass.
Wouldn't want to be a Jordan.
No.
Yep. I kind of think we did it.
I think we did.
Everything we had on our list. Anything we
Yeah.
are missing? Anything you guys are following that we haven't been talking about?
I think that's everything.
It's everything I had on my list. Honestly, I felt like
Mhm.
some of our stuff might have taken a little bit longer, but uh, we got through Delphi faster than I thought we would, actually.
We're just
Uh,
going to be keeping an eye on that Delphi situation. I am so concerned about that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Corey Bigsby trial is postponed. Right. That's true.
oh, and so is oh, that idiot whose boyfriend suffocated in the
Oh, yes. The
suitcase.
suitcase murder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
that's
just
been
can't.
postponed.
She cannot quit firing her attorneys. Man, she is a piece of work. Holy
Come
shit.
on. Let's just do this Daryl Brooks
Yeah.
style and let her represent herself and hang herself and get 1,000 years just like Daryl Brooks did. I would be fine with
Hmm.
that. Sarah
Oh,
Boone,
Sarah
yes,
Boone.
thank you.
Oh my God, if Sarah Boone represented herself, we might have to fly to Florida.
Holy shit. I
That would be a
mean,
scene beyond all scenes.
well, it's a
Yep.
if Daryl Brooks and Taylor Shabusiness had a baby, it's Sarah Boone.
It really is. Sarah, so glad that you're here. That's so funny. For sure. Yep. Yep. Some call her
Yeah,
suitcase Sarah as well, they do.
yeah, that's probably
They
a good
probably call her
a
that
good
in
one.
the
But
jail and she probably fights. Yeah.
she probably gets mad about it. If she was
Mhm.
Nicholas Alaverdi, and she'd be crying discrimination over that.
Yeah, she would.
Oh, yes. Okay. And maybe we haven't talked about this about Kohberger that
Oh.
there is going to be a camera in the courtroom during the
Mhm.
Kohberger trial. That has been ruled on that the
Mhm.
judge will allow that. The judge is going to have a lot of control over how that happens.
Mhm.
We don't care. We just think people have a right
Mhm.
to see this. So
Well, and
however
that
they handle it is
really
fine.
that's a big surprise because
It is.
If you don't know this yet and it gets confusing, the judge's last name in Kohberger is Judge.
So it's
So,
judge.
yeah. Judgy McJudgerson has pretty much acted like he was way against cameras. I mean, there's been a lot of conversation about this, and we were all going that he'll never allow it. He was much
Right.
stricter even than De Belvallo there for a while, and now
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, let's do it, let's go for it, but I'm gonna control it. Please do, please
Please
do."
do. Who said you shouldn't? It's interesting because
Hmm.
we've got coming up here on the 29th of November on my birthday. We have a hearing
Hmm.
for Chad Daybell
Hmm.
about cameras in the courtroom because his defense is pro cameras in the courtroom.
Yep, always has been.
Yeah, but we know that the judge and the prosecution have been against it. They
Hmm.
didn't allow it in Lori's case.
Hmm.
Is Judge's decision going to have any impact on this? Because we know that there's been a fair amount of watching back and forth between these two cases because
Yeah.
these are all Idaho cases. So it does make you wonder:
Hmm.
is Judge Boyce going to maybe allow a camera in that courtroom? Come
Right.
on, make our lives easier, please.
Right. My God. Then we could just watch Daybell trial with all of you guys.
Right?
It would
We
be
can just
amazing.
stream it.
And why not? Why not at this point? This is
Right.
the last trial. Why? We're not
Right.
protecting
We're
a
not.
jury pool at this point.
Right. Right. We're not
Yeah.
tainting anything. Come on. Yeah.
Are we going to talk about the peepers that took the boy from Arizona to Alaska? Yes, we are. We're going to do it as a Mormon misdeeds episode. We've kind of been letting the
Hmm.
dust settle. We want to do it in a very sensitive way because that boy does not deserve to have his face or a name plastered anywhere else. He's just
No.
trying to get back to, real life and high school
But
and a
we
football
are.
team. But yes, we are going to take care of. Yeah, we are
Yeah,
covering that
we
case trial.
are
Yeah,
releasing it, and yeah, we're gonna
that'll probably
watch
be
for
our
that
Monday
next week.
episode. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just want to be really careful because
I've
he's
really been
already,
diving deep into this insane belief system and where it's coming from, and
yeah,
who these particular folks were following, because these guys were out of Gilbert, Arizona.
yep,
Like Lori Vallow was out of Gilbert, Arizona.
hmm,
So we're talking about very similar people with very
hmm,
similar stuff.
yep, yep.
So yeah, we will definitely be going deep on that.
Hmm. Kung Fu Panda referred to Sarah Boone as Sarah Boone's farm. Yep,
Yeah,
Fran,
yeah,
I'm right there with you.
I
Fran
got
said
you.
that's
Yeah,
why she
that's
didn't say
hilarious.
his name. Yeah,
Yeah, when we do that episode, we will also not say his name or use
no,
his likeness because
no,
it's not fair to him. He's a 16-year-old kid, and it's not his fault. His family's nuts.
no. It's not, and it
Yeah.
uprooted his life the way they did. The thing that grabbed me the most, oh, maybe not the most, the thing that grabbed me is that that kid plays football and his team still has games this season. They're like
Yeah.
wrapping up their season and he just gets swept out of there. Now, yeah, I know it's just football, it's just a sport, but to that kid, that's everything. That season, that team, his obligation to them, his, connection to his team is everything. It kills me that that happened to him. I'm so glad he probably only had to miss a game. Awful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on with the evil duo Jody and Ruby? Well, there have been a bunch of sealed hearings in relation to custody of the minor
Mhm.
children that we
Yeah.
don't really know what's happening with those, and we're
Yeah.
still awaiting their arraignments.
Yep.
So they both, immediately got terribly ill and all that stuff. So things have
Mhm.
slowed way down. In that
Yep.
case, also they their attorneys have been buried in an avalanche of evidence,
Yeah.
and so they've asked for extra time.
Mhm.
So they're sitting their asses in jail in Utah. That's what we know.
Yep. Right where they ought to be. Jody's daughter did do an interview finally last week and just talked
Mm-hmm.
about how up in total chaos and upheaval her life has been since the arrests. And,
Yeah.
she's just desperately trying to help her siblings and also, maintain her own life. And man, it's a lot. It's really a lot.
Yeah. There's been some ugliness with dad because they
Mhm.
let the adult daughter go into the house to get belongings for the children,
Mhm.
and then dad tried to get her arrested for theft for going in the house and taking things, and
Yeah.
the police were like, she's got custody of these kids and has every right to get their belongings
Mhm.
back up. But this is her dad. I mean, this
Dad.
is the kind of real classy, stable geniuses we're dealing with here.
Mhm. Real freaking nice. And I don't know if we said it last week, but everybody's favorite GI Joe wannabe over there in Utah, Tim Ballard, the governor of Utah, has now said that he believes that there should be a criminal investigation into Tim Ballard's activities.
Yep, he surely did. So
So,
we'll have an update on that soon too. It's just there's a lot of
mhm,
stuff grinding its way through the courts in that
mhm.
situation, and until um, it's just going to take us a little time
Yep,
to
yep,
get credible information.
yeah, yep. Well, yeah, I'll bet Jody and Ruby are not faring well. I'm sure they're not.
They're not. It turns out they don't like being confined.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
weird.
Maybe should have thought of that before all the horrific things they've done.
Hmm.
But yeah, they're not having a good time. We know that, and that does my heart good.
Guys, they don't even like jail. They don't
Mm-mm,
even like jail.
no, I think this can take as long as possible for them.
Hmm.
Sit their asses right there because that's where they deserve to be.
Absolutely. Well, I think we did it.
I think we
So,
did.
we will be back on Monday with a brand new case, or a brand new episode, and
Hmm.
Tuesday and Wednesday, how it is. Brand new
As we
month.
do.
Yeah, lots going on. So, we obviously will be keeping an eye on all of this stuff and so much more as well as you guys will. I know that. So,
Hmm.
that's it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for chatting with us and always being a part of the squad. If you're a patron, Eyes Peeled, there's 2 new episodes that we put out earlier this week. So you want to check those out for sure. Interesting stuff there. And as always, thanks so much for being here. Please take good care of yourselves. You absolutely deserve it. This has
Hmm.
been yet another production of the True Crime Squad.
Bye, everybody.